A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Imam Raghib has explained the meaning of Tarteel in Al-Mufradat to put together and arrange well the component parts of a word and speech and make it distinct. The purpose of Ayat number 4 in Surah Muzzammil is to address to humanity that the recitation of the Quran, especially within the Tahajjud prayer, must not be made in haste, and recite the Quran with measured tone. It must be done slowly, distinctly, by taking pauses to allow the mind to concentrate and reflect on each syllable so that the essence of the Quranic message penetrates and enters our hearts. The recitation must also be deliberate and in a well-measured tone. We must try to beautify the tilawat with our voices, not just to honor Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's book, but to first draw ourselves into its deeper meaning and then to also mesmerize those who happen to listen to it. It is stated in one of the traditions, beautify the Quran with your voices. Ibn Arabi in a narration mentioned that when someone reads the Quran and starts crying, this is in fact a means to reflect on its inner meaning. By doing tadabbur, to try and absorb its meaning, one registers it in one's mind and qalb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in the Quran, say, it is He who has brought you into being, gave you faculties of hearing, seeing, and understanding. Yet, you are seldom thankful. This recipe by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use our critical thinking in the light of Tarteel is to first focus on hearing the recitation and then use our mental faculties to understand its content and context. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also mentions, we have divided the Quran into sections so that you may recite to the people with deliberation. And we have sent it down in gradual revelations to suit particular occasions. Only then can we do justice in allowing it to penetrate and absorb into our hearts. But in order for this to work, a few things need to happen. We must clearly and slowly be able to listen to the recitation. The recitation must have pauses to allow us to reflect and contemplate on the weight of the message being conveyed. We also need to have a good understanding of the Bedouin Arabic dialect in which the Quran was revealed to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A deeper perspective on Tarteel is to come towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with Tarteel as well. Not in haste, but in a measured and calm demeanour, reflecting on His attributes and applying them in our daily lives. The best way to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, something with which we, human beings, with our limited capacities, cannot fully comprehend, is to follow Allah's most revered creation, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have indeed in the life of Allah's Rasul the best model for him whose hope is in Allah and the day of the hereafter, and who engages himself much in the remembrance of Allah. It has been reported in a tradition in Sahih Bukhari that some Bedouin villagers came to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Medina with their leader once. The villagers immediately rushed to go see our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as they were anxiously waiting to meet with him. Their leader, on the other hand, did not go in a hurry. He deliberated, freshened up, bought gifts, and then proceeded. When asked who was preferred by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he mentioned the leader, because even in his demeanour, he practiced Tarteel with deliberation. This Ramzan, let us absorb the true meaning of Tarteel and apply it to all aspects of our lives. By such practices, let us bring back calmness into our lives. From chaos to clarity, let us deliberate on our thoughts before we act upon them. Let us think before we use our tongues to say something with anger. If you have liked this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and do share it with your loved ones. The link is in the feed below. Wishing you all a very blessed Ramzan, and may the light of Al-Muzzammil shine upon you and your loved ones, bringing barakah and peace. Ameen.